Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about kind of the problem of people who worry about pesticides in their food while still drinking alcohol. Really strange if you really look at that idea objectively. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're not following or subscribe, please do so. And if you will be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. This is one of these health topics that always baffles me, and it's not, I want to be clear, I'm not saying you shouldn't care about pesticides at all, okay? I'm not saying it's irrelevant. I'm not saying it's not a topic of social interest. I'm not saying it's not a topic of political interest and health interest. I'm not saying we should just completely overlook it and ignore it and not care. It's not what I'm saying. What I am going to say is objectively, compared to a lot of other things going on with our food, particularly in the U.S., with certain laws in place that do put restrictions and limits on it, it is further down the chain of worries compared to some other major topics. Keeping in mind, that doesn't mean it's irrelevant. Oh, that it's not. That's not what we're saying. What I'm saying is it's a case of, you guys familiar with the term stepping over dollars to pick up dimes? That's where it falls under. And I think the biggest one, ridiculously bigger, is the entire alcohol discussion. And the reason I say that is because we can argue about different health effects, but our concern with pesticides are generally, well, it's a poison. Right, that's pretty much at the top of the list. We're not worried that pesticides are causing insulin resistance, right? We're not worried that you're going to get diabetes from them. Okay, we're not worried that they're going to make you fat. Okay, because I can assure you, being poisoned does not make people fat. If anything, they lose weight. Like, this is definitely not a concern, right? It's because it's a poison. It's literally a poison. They're pesticides. They exist for the purpose of killing insects. Okay. And they're then also potential carcinogens. Okay, see where we're going with this? They're unavoidable. We literally cannot feed the population without pesticides. We cannot grow enough crops. There is no way, even when we've tried to GMO our way around it, we can't. We just can't do it. Our population is way too big to feed the population without some type of pesticide. So really the argument becomes, do we look at different types, organic ones, unorganic ones? We get into a lot of nuance trying to find ways to have harm mitigation, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, we understand you're still putting a potentially very mild, but still a poison is getting into food supplies, getting into water supplies or something. Okay, yeah. So we're always looking for harm mitigation, but we cannot avoid it. And we need to be clear on that, which is kind of the problem when people obsess over it. It's like, you're not going to get, I understand when people say, well, I don't want to consume a poison. Totally get it. Then they're like, well, I want to minimize it. The problem is it's very difficult for you to do that with it. And I'm not saying you can't. Again, I'm not saying you can't, but you're not going to be, it is an unavoidable poison. However, alcohol is a poison, right? Not hypothetical, not figurative, not metaphorically, biologically speaking, scientifically, chemically speaking, by the definition of a poison, alcohol is a poison to humans. Okay. That's not hyperbole. It is literally, from a biological definition, a poison to our bodies. That is why our liver has to detoxify it, so that it literally doesn't kill you. If your liver didn't process it, one drink would kill you. You would be dead from one shot of vodka. So everybody understands this, right? If your liver did not detoxify it, it would poison you to death. Okay. Same thing. It's the single most carcinogenic thing that we consume. Okay? People understand that. That's been pretty well proven in the data. One drink a month is enough to cause cancer in some people. Directly cause it in some people. It boosts 7 types of cancers. There's a study that found that. Multiple studies determined that. One drink a month. And then it scales with intake, right? It is extremely carcinogenic. So all the concerns that we have with the pesticides are present in alcohol, but here's the thing. keeping in mind a very small amount of alcohol will surpass what you can get from pesticides. And that's what people are missing who are worried about the pesticides. I'm not saying don't to be worried, but if you're worried about pesticides, why would you drink an alcoholic drink that literally has a higher toxic load than any amount of pesticides you're possibly going to get on your, like, even if you said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go find the foods in the US that have larger amounts of pesticides, I'm going to intentionally seek them out and eat those every day. Having one beer or one shot of whiskey a week or a glass of wine is going to have a considerably higher poisonous load, toxic load on your body and carcinogenic load than any of the pesticides they're legally putting in your food at this point. Does it mean they're harmless? No. But you are picking an optional poison. So if a person says, hey, I'm going to be worried about these that I can't fully avoid, and obsess and harp over them and want more laws written, but then you're drinking alcohol while you're going, oh, I don't want to consume a poison. You're literally drinking a poison that is actually worse than the pesticides you're worried about. It's literally more poisonous. And you don't have to. You can't fully avoid the pesticides. You can avoid alcohol. If you can't, then you're what we call an alcoholic. You need to go to a program. You're an alcoholic if you can't avoid it. So that's a whole nother topic. It's a completely optional poison you are choosing to put in your body. And yet people will have no trouble doing it. And they'll say, well, I don't have that much of it. Okay, but it's way, 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 way more than what you could get from the pesticides. So you see what I mean? This is a case of people stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. Literally going to worry about the trace amount of poison that you can't 100% get away from. And you can't survive without eating the food. You're going to die without it. But then you'll, to then just willingly say, okay, I'm worried about this, but I'll just willingly just drink another poison. I'll just drink it. I don't have to have it. No requirement for survival, completely optional. I have every opportunity to avoid it and to just consciously consume it. Well, my point is, don't pretend that you care about poison. That would be the point I would make. Like, are we really going to have this conversation? Just stop. You're being silly. Okay? You're more than happy to put poison in your body. Don't pretend like you care. And the thing is, and I think for a lot of people, they haven't thought about it that way. They've never said, oh, wait. I'm over here worried about a poison, this poison that I really can't fully escape from, but it's in pretty small amounts. But I'm just willingly just walking over to the store and buying a direct poison that I don't have to have and just drinking it. Because I get a buzz. Because it's a poison to my brain cells, and therefore I get a euphoria from the poisoning of my brain cells. Yeah. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.